Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously you can see on your screen is the March Madness tournament. Can't wait for that. It's gonna be incredible. I believe it's coming in like 3 days or so, if I'm right. But I think it's gonna be an amazing tournament. We got some good underdogs that are some nice Cinderella stories that I'm choosing right now in this bracket, and also some obvious favorites like Gonzaga, Arizona, Duke, a lot of those 1 seeds, some surprising storylines throughout. So can't wait to get into this one. So let's head in and let's start with the West bracket on the left side. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, you can just listen to me break down the bracket. So in the West, we have number 1 seed Gonzaga versus number 16 seed Georgia State. Now this one, a lot of people are choosing Gonzaga, and I obviously agree. I believe it's going to be Gonzaga winning this one. I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as a lot of people say. Georgia State's still a really great team because they are in the tournament and they're at the 16 seed. So I definitely think they're going to have Gonzaga kind of fight it out there. But I think Memphis coming up here in this Boise State Memphis game might determine where Gonzaga stands in the second round. But as far as the first round, I think Gonzaga has it set against Georgia State. Heading to the next matchup, we have Boise State versus Memphis. Now, Memphis, Penny Hardaway returning to his alma mater, being head coach, and they've been on a hot streak so far. I believe they won 9 of their last games, so they've been on a 9-win streak. And Boise State just won the Mountain West tournament. So I believe this is going to be a really, really good matchup, Boise State and Memphis. But I'm going to go with the first upset of the video. I'm going to go give that one to number 9 seed Memphis. I think Memphis, really great run. I think they should have gone higher in the seeding than 9. But obviously they're going against Boise State, which is going to be a great team. I think it's going to be a great matchup. 8 versus 9 seeds, this really can go either way. I believe 9 over 8 is the most, or 9 beating 8 is probably the most likability, I think, between all the rest of the other seedings. So, I mean, really, this game could go either way. But I'm going to have Memphis going with this one because I like Boise State, but I just don't think they're going to be able to complete a full run. And Memphis, really great team. So, yeah, that's why I got Memphis winning that one. Now heading over into Yukon versus New Mexico State University. This one is going to be close, I think. This one's definitely going to be close. But I got Yukon winning this one. I originally, in my first draft of the bracket, I had New Mexico State winning this one. But with further review, I just believe that Yukon is now a better team in my eyes. And I think Yukon, I mean, this game could go either way, though. I like New Mexico State to win this one. That's a very good possibility. And then Yukon, another possibility there. But I like Yukon more in this game. So that's why I'm going to go with them. This one, Arkansas versus number 4 Arkansas versus number 13 seed Vermont. Now Vermont, from what I've been seeing, basically across the web, is that Vermont is a really good team to choose here if you're kind of betting on the under or like the underdogs here, trying to bet on a Cinderella story. Vermont is a possible Cinderella story in this one. And Arkansas hasn't done the best so far, but they've been doing good for themselves. Obviously sitting at the 4 seed, and Vermont 13 seed. They've been on a win streak. They're winning some games. So, this game could go either way again. But I have Arkansas winning this one. I think Arkansas is just a better team, in my opinion, and I think they're gonna really cut Vermont's hopes short here in the first round. just mainly because I don't think Vermont is going to be able to keep up with the team that Arkansas, that fast-paced offense Arkansas has. I think it's just going to be way too much for Vermont. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough matchup, but I got Arkansas in that one. And then heading into the next game, Bama versus either Rutgers or Notre Dame, I believe. Yes, Notre Dame. This one is playing game, kinda. I guess you could say it in the NBA, playing game. Rutgers. I think they took Texas A&M spot in my opinion. I think Texas A&M should have been up for that 11th seed, but Rutgers was in there, and as a Michigan fan, I started sweating because I thought Michigan wasn't going to make it, but we'll get to that one in the South region. But as for this one, Rutgers versus Notre Dame, I think it's going to be a really good game. A lot of people, they have Rutgers possibly winning this one, but I have Notre Dame winning. I think Notre Dame, really great team. I think, they're going to surprise a lot of people with this win over Rutgers, another rival. But, yeah, I got Notre Dame winning this one. I think it's just going to be a pretty good game, though. Now it's going to be Bama versus Notre Dame, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick Bama on that one. I don't really think it's going to be a close game whatsoever. I think Bama, really great offense, really great basketball team overall. So really, I just like sorry about that, came up on screen, but that I just really like Bama winning that one. Just because I guess that I think they're just a better team than either Rutgers or Notre Dame. Now moving on to this next game, Texas Tech versus Montana State, and this one I'm gonna have to go with another upset. Number 14 Montana State is gonna be number 3 seed Texas Tech. I think this is gonna be a really, really, really good game. But I think a lot of people are seeing Montana State as a team that could possibly beat Texas Tech, and Texas Tech has been caught lagging a few times during the season, and I think Montana State could possibly take advantage of that and get this upset win against Texas Tech. Then next we have 7 seed Michigan State versus number 10 seed Davidson, and this one has a pretty good storyline to it. So Davidson's leading scorer, Davidson's leading scorer is Foster Loyer, right? Who leads one of the leaders in the nation with a 93% shooting in at the free throw line, which is really good. You're really gonna want free throw shots in the March Madness tournament, and Davidson's got one of the best of them. And many people that did watch, college basketball last season, they know that Foster Loyer was actually a team captain for Michigan State last season. So he's going up against his former team, and I think Davidson's gonna win this one. Davidson's got a really good shooting offense. Michigan State hasn't really been doing that well over the past couple games, and I think Foster Loyer is really looking out for blood against his former team. And Davidson is another team to keep your eye out for possible Cinderella story, in my opinion. And then next, the last matchup of the West bracket, we have Duke versus Cal State Fullerton. Now, Cal State Fullerton just won their division's title, I believe, against Long Beach. And that one was a pretty good game. It was close. And then Duke obviously lost against Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament. But for this one, I'm just going to have Duke winning it. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Coach K is looking out for a possible, national championship, for his last season. He wasn't able to get the last win at home against UNC. So I think he's definitely looking for that championship to complete, his resume and retire one of the most legendary coaches of college basketball, period. So, and that's it for the first round of the Western Division. Heading into the first round of the Eastern Division, we have number 1 seed Baylor versus number 16 Norfolk State. And I think this one could be good, but I think I just got Baylor winning this one. Baylor, better team. They have a 1 seed for a reason. So definitely rocking with Baylor for that one. Now UNC versus Marquette. I think this one's going to be a really good game. But I got UNC winning this one. UNC just they're the higher seed, and I think UNC, they're looking out for another, championship return. It's been a while since UNC. I don't even think UNC was in the tournament last season. And it's been a while since UNC has made a long run in the tournament. So, I'm going to choose UNC over Marquette, for this one. Then next, we have St. Mary, number 5 seed St. Mary against number 12 seed playing game Wyoming versus Indiana. And this one is going to be interesting. So Indiana, this is their 40th tournament appearance. And this is Wyoming's third in just 34 years. So, I think Wyoming's trying to make some school history here. So there's a possibility that they do win this game. And Indiana's games haven't really been, decided by that big of a points margin either. They've had 9 of their games that they've played this season decided by 3 points or them winning in overtime. So I think that's going to be a big key piece into how Wyoming plays. And I think Wyoming is actually going to beat Indiana to get into that 12 seed. And then now it's number 5 seed St. Mary versus number 12 Wyoming. And I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to say Wyoming actually beat St. Mary's. Now, St. Mary's, they had a really good game against Gonzaga during this season. And that was a really good game. But I'm really going to put up to Wyoming for this one. I think Wyoming, they're going to surprise a lot of people. And I think they're going to beat Indiana, and they're going to beat St. Mary's and move on to the second round. Now moving into the next game, we have number 4 seed UCLA versus number 13 seed Akron. And I'm just going to go with UCLA here. UCLA, tough loss against Arizona for that Pac-12 championship. And I think they're going to try and fight for that redemption game, and I think they're going to be working towards possibly facing Arizona in the national championship, try to get a championship. But I think UCLA, they've had a really great team all season, ended as the 2nd seed in the Pac-12 behind Arizona. And I think, overall, they're just a better team, and they're going up against a pretty low seed in Akron. Next game, we have Texas versus Virginia Tech. Now, Texas, I believe, was a pretty good team during the season, if I remember. I'm trying to remember if they won their championship or not, but I can't remember for some reason. And then Virginia Tech, they didn't win the ACC tournament, but they did beat, 2 seed in the West against Duke, and they won pretty well. I wouldn't say that was really a close game. So Virginia Tech, they're going on some pretty high morale here. And they've already played some really tough opponents. And I think Duke actually is better than Texas. So for that reason, I'm going to say Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech's actually going to pull off the upset here. I think they're just a better team. Not that they've beat Duke, who's a better team. They've played in a better conference. And, I think they've run into teams like Texas. This is going to be a hard matchup for Virginia Tech. But I do believe that Virginia Tech could most likely win this one over Texas. And heading to the next game, we have number 3 seeded Purdue versus number 14 seeded Yale. I believe Yale won the Ivy League conference championship, and then Purdue lost in the Big Ten championship game against Iowa, I want to say. And Purdue, they're one of my favorites, possibly make it to the Final Four. Jaden Ivey's a great player. I think if he plays well, Purdue's going to play well. So really this team kind of ends up into who's gonna play the best, for Purdue, and I think that's going to be Jaden Ivey. So I'm going to be picking Purdue in this one to go up against Virginia Tech in the second round. Next, we have Murray State versus San Francisco. Number 7, Murray State. Number 10, San Francisco. This one, I'm just going to choose number 7, Murray State. There isn't much information that you are like really big highlights you can go off of for San Francisco. I know they've played really well from what I've seen, but I believe just Murray State's just a really good team overall, and I think they're going to get that win over San Francisco. And then the last matchup of the Eastern bracket, we have University of Kentucky, number 2 seed, versus number 15 seed, St. Peter's. This one, I think I'm just going to give that to Kentucky. Kentucky's played really well over the course of the season, and I think that's going to continue in the first round of the March Madness bracket. Now heading into here, we have the first round. Let me see how I'm gonna get there. I don't know how I'm supposed to exactly see the right side of the bracket. But guess you can't really see that on the screen recording, huh? But I can tell you right here the matchups. We have number 1 seed Arizona versus number 16 seed Wright or Bryant, or Wright State or Bryant, for that play-in game. So for the 16 seed, I'm going to have Bryant winning this one. I mean, they have Peter Kiss, who's an amazing player for the team. Definitely boosted them into this play-in game here for the 16th seed. And then also, I mean, it's going to be tough for Bryant to win this one because the game is going to be played only 12 miles away from Wright State's campus. So it's definitely going to be more of a Wright State home game. But I think Bryant has the leading scorer. I mean, they have one of the nation's leading scorers in Peter Kiss, and they just have a really all-around good team. And I think they're going to be able to beat Wright State. But when it does come to the first round, I'm going to have Arizona winning this one. I mean, Arizona is just a great team. Dominating performance in the Pac-12 championship. And yeah, just amazing play by them overall. So that's why I got Arizona winning that one in the first round. Next matchup, we have 8 seed Seton Hall versus 9 seed TCU. Seton Hall, pretty good overall this season. A lot of people have Texas Christian University or TCU winning this one against Seton Hall, but I got Seton Hall winning this one. I know it's not the best pick because it's just the 8 seed over a 9 seed, but yeah, I think Seton Hall, they've played really well over the season, and I think they're gonna get that win over TCU. And next matchup, we have number 5 seed Houston versus number 12 seed UAB. And both teams have played really well this season, but I'm going to go for a big upset, and I'm going to go UAB for this one. I think UAB could catch Houston in a trap, and I mean, UAB's been playing really nice this season, in my opinion, so I think UAB is going to be able to really go far in this tournament, possibly even go to the Sweet 16. So, yeah, I think that was going to be a good one. And then next matchup, we have number 4 seed Illinois versus number 13 seed Chattanooga. Now, Chattanooga, I mean, they made it. They literally had to get here at the buzzer. They made a game-winning shot in their tournament, in their conference tournament, to make it into the March Madness tournament. So, they really worked hard for this spot, but I think this matchup is gonna go to Illinois. Kofi Cockburn, really good player. I mean, overall, Illinois is just a really great team. They struggled in the Big Ten tournament against Indiana, so there is a possibility that Chattanooga pulls it off. A lot of people are rooting for Chattanooga to win this one, but I got Illinois winning that one. Next matchup, we have number 6 seed Colorado State University versus a number 11 seed Michigan Wolverines. And Colorado State, I mean, they have one of the best players on their team, one of the leading scorers. And then you have Michigan, who hasn't done well. They were possibly in the conversation for first four, or first four out, first four in. Nobody really knew. But then when they said they're 11 seed, Colorado State seemed like a pretty tough matchup. And for this one, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go for Colorado State. I think Colorado State's just a great team. And Michigan just hasn't been able to play well. I believe this is the first matchup, actually, of the first round. So, the early matchup, but we'll have to see what happens with that one. But, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to watch that one as a Michigan fan, kind of knowing the inevitable fall of the Wolverines franchise. But it's going to be really hard to watch. But, I got Colorado State winning that one. Next one, we have number 3 Tennessee versus number 14 Longwood. Tennessee's been playing really well, but big but right there. I'm gonna have to go with the underdog here and go with Longwood. I think Longwood, big Cinderella story here that you could possibly see in this bracket. I think Longwood is a team to look out for against Tennessee, and a really big possibility. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but I gotta throw in some Cinderella picks there, and I got Longwood over Tennessee. And then next we have Ohio State versus Loyola Chicago. And this one I think is going to be very, very close. Ohio State last year in the tournament out first round against Oral Roberts. And then Loyola Chicago has just been a team to look out for in like the past few years. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do for this game. But I have number 7 seed Ohio State. I think number 7 seed Ohio State should do good. I mean, Ohio State hasn't done well in the past few weeks. And Loyola 10 seed versus 7 seed is like the second highest possible, over behind a 9 over 8 seed. So, I mean, I have Ohio State win this one, but I definitely think it's gonna be close. Both teams play really well. Next matchup, number 2 Villanova versus number 15 Delaware, and I know a lot of people aren't gonna agree with me on this pick, but I'm actually going for Delaware. I think that one's gonna be a crazy one. Villanova exits first round. I know a lot of people want to see the Arizona versus Villanova Final Four to head into the national championship, which would be amazing. I think it's going to be an amazing matchup if that does happen. But I think Delaware could possibly, destroy the dreams and hopes of Villanova fans. I think Delaware could possibly knock out Villanova first round. That's a possibility. But it's gonna be a stretch. I know it's a stretch, but I just like Delaware for this game. I just have a feeling, and I have a feeling that Delaware is gonna beat Villanova, and that's gonna be the last matchup of the South region. Now heading into the Midwest region, we have number 1 seed Kansas versus either Texas Southern or Texas A&M Corpus Christi for that 16 seed. And I'm actually going to go Texas A&M Corpus Christi with this one because I think they're just an overall better team compared to Texas Southern. I mean, Texas Southern's been playing really well this season, but I got Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And then as for that game, Kansas versus Corpus Christi, I'm going to go Kansas. Kansas is just really good. I mean, they have had some pretty big upsets during the season, during the regular season. Kansas has lost some pretty lower level teams, but I think Kansas should have a pretty easy coast to pass to that 1 seed. And then next, we have number 8 seed San Diego State University versus number 9 seed Creighton. And like this one, like I said, 9 over 8 is one of the highest probabilities that could happen. And I got number 9 seed going over number 8 seed San Diego State University. I think Creighton, amazing team, what they have so far, especially their win over Providence, just a couple weeks ago. I think Creighton has that one in the bag. I think it's going to be close, but I got Creighton for that one. And then next we have number 5 seed Iowa versus number 12 seed Richmond. And I got Iowa winning that one. I think it's going to be tough, but Richmond just hasn't really proven themselves through the postseason or in the regular season. So I'm really just going to give that one to Iowa. Iowa, great games in the Big Ten tournament. So, I think Iowa is going to win that one. And Providence and South Dakota State. That one's going to be a pretty good one. Jackrabbits, they got 21 straight wins, which is one of the longest winning streaks in Division I history. And Providence just really hasn't, won their games. They've won games, but the games that they've lost have been by pretty large margins, 18-32, and their last game against Creighton, they lost by 27. So, I don't know if Providence can do it. And I'm going with the upset here. I'm going with South Dakota State. I want a lot of people to watch South Dakota State for this one. And mark my words, I think they're going to be a great Cinderella story here. And you'll have to watch the rest of this bracket video, but I think South Dakota State could go really far in this tournament. And they're going up against Providence, which I think Providence, I don't even think they're going to do that well against South Dakota State. So I got South Dakota State moving on to the second round to go up against Iowa. Now we have LSU versus Iowa State. Number 6 LSU, number 11 Iowa State. Both teams, they had similar paths to getting here. LSU started 12-0. Iowa State started 12-0, and then LSU ended their last 18 games 9-9. And then Iowa State ended their last 18 games 7-11. So, they kind of ended up in the same position at the start, but then kind of went down. And LSU just fired their head coach, so that could be a problem. But I think their coach should do well in this game. So I got LSU over Iowa State in that one. And then next matchup, we have number 3 seeded Wisconsin versus number 14 Colgate. And this one, a lot of people have their eyes on. Watch out for this one. But I got Colgate winning this one. I think they're gonna be minty fresh. Yeah, great pun. But I think they're gonna be great against Wisconsin. I think a lot of people are kind of doubting them because of how good Wisconsin has been playing recently. But I think Colgate has a really high possibility in getting that upset against Wisconsin. So, I got Colgate winning that one, moving on to the second round to face off against LSU. And then next matchup, we have number 7 seeded USC versus number 10 seed Miami. And I'm actually going to go with the underdog here and go 10 seed over 7 seed Miami. I think Miami did really well in their game in the SEC tournament. They did lose, but I think they did well in the SEC tournament. So I think Miami is going to move on to the second round. And then the last matchup for the Midwest region, we have Auburn versus Jackson, or number 2 Auburn versus number 15 Jackson State. Now Auburn, really good matchup there, but I got Auburn with this one. I think Auburn's a really good team. Even though they did lose in the SEC tournament, I think they should do very good in this one. And they were undefeated for quite a while, so I think they could do some big things. I think they could do some big things in this tournament. So I got them moving on to the next round against Miami. Now moving up back to the West region for that second round, we have Gonzaga versus number 1 Gonzaga versus number 9 Memphis. I think it's going to be a really big matchup for Gonzaga. I think this is going to be one of their first challenging steps in the March Madness tournament. But I got Gonzaga winning this one. Drew Timme, Chet Holmgren. I mean, overall, that Gonzaga team is just amazing. I think they're really good. Excuse me. They couldn't make a run for it last year, or they made a whole run for it last year. Ended up losing to Baylor in not the most impressive fashion. So I think they're coming for blood again. So I got Memphis, I got Gonzaga beating Memphis to head over to the Sweet 16. Next matchup we have number 5 Yukon versus number 4 Arkansas. And I got number 4 Arkansas in that one. I think Yukon, they're gonna have a tough matchup against New Mexico State, and I think Arkansas is just, pretty good. I think they're better than New Mexico State, so I think Arkansas is gonna be a pretty uneven matchup for Yukon, and I got Arkansas winning that one. Next matchup we have Alabama versus Montana State. And I got Alabama winning that one. I think Alabama, really great team so far, and I think they're going to put an end to Montana State's hopes of being a Cinderella story in this tournament. So Alabama moving on to the Sweet 16. And then next we have number 10 Davidson versus number 2 Duke. And I think that Duke team fired up. They're ready to try and win this championship for Coach K. And I think they're going to be trying to go far. They're going to try to go far. And Davidson, to beat MSU, maybe they get their revenge against MSU, but I think Davidson is where they kind of stop here. Duke's really great team, and I don't know, how far they're going to be able to make it I don't know how far Davidson's going to make into the tournament. So, yeah. Now moving on to the Eastern region, we had number 1 seed Baylor versus number 8 seed UNC, and Baylor I think has one of the toughest schedules in bracket for the East Division out of any of the number 1 seeds in this tournament. Baylor's gonna face a tough team in UNC, and I think UNC will test them. They will test them. And I think UNC is going to win that one. They're going to knock off the 1 seed. I think that one's just going to be a big upset. UNC, great team. I think they're actually really good contenders to make it pretty far in the tournament. So, at least the Elite 8, I think, in my opinion. So, I got UNC making it pretty far in that one. And then next we have, in my opinion, I think it's going to be Wyoming as 12 seed. And then number 4 seed UCLA. And I'm going to have UCLA win this one, move on to the Sweet 16. Again, UCLA, just a great team. They're going to face Akron in the first round and then Wyoming in the second round. Not really the biggest of challenges for UCLA, so I think they're going to be coasting to the Sweet 16 to face UNC. And next game, we have number 11 seed Virginia Tech versus number 3 seed Purdue. And I mean, if Virginia Tech is through here, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. Virginia Tech beat Duke in the ACC tournament, and at this point they already beat Texas, which is a good team. And in theory for this bracket, this game could go either way. But again, I think Jaden Ivey's going to show out in this tournament, and Purdue's going to win. I think Purdue, really great team. I think really highly of Purdue for this tournament. So I got Purdue winning that one at the 3 seed. And then next matchup we have Murray State versus Kentucky, or number 7 Murray State versus number 2 Kentucky. And I'm going to go Kentucky on this one. I think Kentucky, the state of Kentucky, is going to be going crazy because both teams are in Kentucky, and I don't think Kentucky wants Murray State to beat them. So I think they want to keep reign over that territory in Kentucky, and they're going to beat Murray State to continue their streak, if you will, in Kentucky. Now moving up to the right corner, we have the South region. Yes, South region, and the second round. And I'm going to head up for Arizona over Seton Hall. Again, Arizona dominating performances constantly throughout the season. And they have that number 1 overall in the AP poll for a reason. And they have the number 1 seed in the South for a reason. So give me Arizona over Seton Hall pretty easily, I think. And we got UAB versus Illinois. And number 12 seed UAB versus number 4 seed Illinois. This one's going to be pretty good. I think it'll be really good. But give me the underdog, the 12 seed over the 4 seed UAB. Give me that. I think UAB, big team to look out for here. If you're only looking at the high seeds, you can only look at the high seeds. But UAB, sleeper team. I mean, in recent years, they've been able to beat some pretty high up teams. And I think Illinois, they've shown cracks in the armor, especially in the Big Ten tournament. So if UAB is able to play like how Indiana did against Illinois, kind of control Kofi Cockburn in the paint, I think UAB should be fine against Illinois and move on to the Sweet 16. And then next, we have Colorado State University versus number 6 Colorado State University versus number 14 Longwood. And this one, maybe I picked out of spite, maybe, but I got number 14 Longwood over Colorado State University as I accidentally click Colorado State University to pass on. But I got number 14 Longwood. Give me Longwood. I think they're gonna be a really great team. And Colorado State should do some great things, in my opinion. So, I got Colorado State winning that one. Longwood to win that one. I think it's going to be close. But then moving on to the Sweet 16. I got, on the right side of the bracket, I got some Cinderella teams. So, keep on the lookout for that one. But next is Ohio State, number 7 Ohio State versus number 15 Delaware. And this one, I think, is where OSU kind of ends Delaware's run. They beat Villanova in the first round, and I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. Ohio State kind of seeking revenge, after being out first round last year against Oral Roberts. I think they're trying to make a run, not be out first round again. And so I think they're going to be able to beat Delaware to move on to the Sweet 16. And then for this one, moving on to the Midwest bracket here, number 1 Kansas versus number 9 Creighton. I would want Kansas to win this one. I think Kansas overall, great team. Kansas, great team. Number 1 seed for a reason. They have lost against some other teams, some lower level teams before, but I don't know if Creighton's going to be able to keep up with Kansas, so I got Kansas winning that one. And then a big matchup here, Iowa, number 5 Iowa versus number 13 South Dakota State. And this one's going to be exciting because it's a matchup between the 2nd and 4th highest scoring teams in the country. So South Dakota State, I think, is going to do well in this game. It's basically going to be whoever's going to score 100 first. And I think that's going to be South Dakota State. That 3-point percentage is just amazing. The free throw percentage is just amazing. I think they're going to beat the Big Ten champs in Iowa and move on to the Sweet 16 to face number 1 seed Kansas. I'm really high on South Dakota State right now, and I really hope that they can get far. Cinderella story here, Sweet 16. I think it's going to be interesting to see, interesting to say the least, with South Dakota State. And then next, we have number 6 seed LSU versus number 14 seed Colgate. And I think Colgate continues to run. Another Cinderella story in this right side of the bracket here with the South and Midwest brackets. I think Colgate, the Cinderella, makes it to the Sweet 16 and do some great things. I think. Then next we have number 10 Miami versus number 2 Auburn, and just give me Auburn for this one. Auburn, they're higher seed in the SEC. They've already played against each other, and Auburn's already won. So just give me Auburn for that one for the second round. And let's head into the Sweet 16. This is where you start formulating who's gonna be in the championship, who's not gonna be in the championship, whose Cinderella stories will continue, and whose Cinderella stories will end. And this one we have number 1 seed Gonzaga versus number 4 seed Arkansas. And this one, again, I think Gonzaga, looking at that championship, they're hungry, they're thirsty, and they want that championship more, I think, than any other team in this entire tournament. So I got Gonzaga beating Arkansas to head on to the Elite Eight. And then next matchup, we have number 6 Alabama versus number 2 Duke. And this, I think, is going to be a matchup, really offensive matchup, I think, in my opinion. But I'm going to go Duke. I think Duke, I think they're looking to avenge their coach for losing that game against UNC, that last Duke home game for Coach K. And I think now they're looking at that championship for Coach K. So I got them moving on to the Elite Eight to face number 1 Gonzaga. And then moving on to another game. Moving on to the East bracket, we have number 8 UNC versus number 4 UCLA. And here we go. I think this one, upset alert. UNC, number 8 UNC over number 4 UCLA. I think UNC is going to go on a run here. I think UNC is looking at a run here. And I think UNC, great team. I think they're a great team. I think they're going to be able to capitalize on, if they're able to force UCLA to make some turnovers, they are going to be able to capitalize on UCLA making turnovers. And I think they're going to be able to get some fast break points, some second chance points. I think UNC is going to be able to do it all against UCLA. And then next, number 3 seed Purdue versus number 2 seed Kentucky. This one is going to be absolute lights out. I think this one's going to be a great matchup. But I got Purdue. I think, again, Jaden Ivey, I think, is one of the best players in this tournament that can actually play. I think he can actually play. And it's against a tough team in Kentucky, but I think Purdue's going to be able to beat Kentucky and move on to the Elite Eight to face UNC. And then moving on to the second round in the South, number 1 Arizona versus number 12 UAB. And give me Arizona with this one. They end UAB's Cinderella story in the Sweet 16 round, and Arizona moves on to the Elite Eight. I think Arizona, great team. Again, dominating performances by multiple times. So, I think they're going to go pretty far into the tournament. So, give me Arizona. And then next, Longwood, number 14 Longwood against number 7 Ohio State. And give me number 14 Longwood. I think number 14 Longwood is going to be great in this tournament. I think they're going to make a run. Another Cinderella story here. And I think they're going to beat Ohio State to move on to the Elite Eight. Really, with the Cinderella teams, there's not one person that does all the work. It's an entire team effort. And I think Longwood has the entire team effort and not just one player. Ohio State, I think, is not going to be healthy for the majority of these games against Loyola, Chicago, which is going to be tough for them because they're not going to be healthy. Against Delaware, they're not going to be healthy. Against Longwood, I think Longwood is going to capitalize on Ohio State not being as healthy. They're missing out on Zach Key, so I got Longwood here over Ohio State for that one. And then moving on to the Midwest bracket, we have number 1 Kansas, number 13 South Dakota State. And I really hope this is what the outcome is for the Sweet 16, because I got South Dakota State beating Kansas. I think South Dakota State is that team that can beat Kansas, that can catch Kansas lacking on that. South Dakota State is one of the best shooting teams, scoring teams for a reason. And I think Kansas just isn't able to compete at that high of a rate. And so, Kansas, I think all the way. Kansas, or not Kansas. I think Kansas is going to have a tough time. So, give me South Dakota State. Moving on to Elite Eight. I never thought I'd say that, but give me South Dakota State moving on to the Elite Eight. Next matchup here, we have number 14 Colgate versus number 2 Auburn. And in the Sweet 16, I think this is where Colgate's run comes to an end, unfortunately. And Auburn Tigers take advantage of that and move on to the Elite Eight to play number 13 seed South Dakota State. Now, I think so far this bracket's going to be good. We had two Cinderella runs. South Dakota State, Longwood, in the Elite Eight. UNC, I guess you can say, is a Cinderella story, but I mean, they're still a blue blood school, so I guess they're not really going to call it a Cinderella story. I think it's just going to be, is UNC back? I think they are, to their old ways. So, give me UNC, I guess, for that one. But that so far is good. I think we only have one bracket here in the West, or only a 1 and 2 seed face off. So let's move on to the West bracket here for the Elite Eight. Gonzaga, number 1 Gonzaga versus number 2 Duke. This is gonna be a crazy game, I think. Duke, they played against Gonzaga. Their last matchup against a ranked opponent was Duke, was Gonzaga, and Duke beat Gonzaga 84-81. Now, is Gonzaga a better team now than they were in mid-November? Definitely. And is Duke the same team? That's a good question. I don't know if Duke's gonna be the same team that they were mid-November. Especially the morale's a little low from not winning the ACC tournament, and not winning Coach K's last home game. I think morale's gonna be pretty low. I mean, it's gonna be high. I mean, they're beating Davidson, Cal State Fullerton. They're gonna beat Bama, but I feel that Gonzaga's actually gonna be playing harder opponents compared to Duke. So, give me Gonzaga winning that one, number 1 seed. I know it's kind of it feels cringe to pick a number 1 seed all the way through, but it's just Gonzaga's just that great of a team, and I think they can move on pretty well. Now next, moving into the East bracket, we have number 8 UNC versus number 3 Purdue. This one's gonna be a great game in my opinion, but again, Jaden Ivey, that Purdue team, I think is gonna be great. I think they're gonna move on to the Final Four. I think Purdue's a Final Four team, in my opinion. I think they can make it far if they play well. If they play their cards right, they're gonna have that matchup against Gonzaga in that Final Four, in my opinion. Then next matchup, we have Arizona versus Longwood. Number 1 Arizona versus number 14 Longwood. Longwood, Cinderella story, making it to the Elite Eight. Can they beat one of the best teams right now in college history? I think Arizona's one of the best teams in college history. I put it right there, but I'm going to have Longwood. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to beat Arizona. Arizona is just too good of a team. Matherin. I mean, the performance that I saw against UCLA was just a team that will eat you alive if you have those turnovers. They're gonna steal the ball, dunk on you. Okay, that Arizona team is just amazing. So I think Arizona's gonna move on with that 1 seed. Moving on to the Midwest bracket, South Dakota State versus Auburn. South Dakota State, Cinderella story, making it this far to the Elite Eight, and they're going up against number 2 Auburn Tigers. The Tigers have been playing really well. This one, when it came up, I was like, who's gonna win? I felt conflicted, but I'm going, sticking all the way South Dakota State over Auburn. I got South Dakota State moving far in this tournament. They're gonna make it to the Final Four. I don't even think, has the 13th seed even made it to the Final Four? I don't even think so. And the entire history of March Madness, I don't even think a 13 seed has made it to the Final Four, even the Elite Eight. So, I mean, them getting this far, I got a pretty historical bracket with number 14. We're making it to the Elite Eight, and number 13 making it to the Elite Eight. So, Got number 13 moving on to the Final Four, South Dakota State. So let's look at the Final Four here. Number 1 Gonzaga versus number 3 Purdue, and then number 1 Arizona versus number 13 South Dakota State. Moving on to the Final Four. Let's check it out here. Final Four. Number 1 Gonzaga versus number 3 Purdue. This one was tough, but I think again, Gonzaga is just that team. They're just that team. They are just that team. In my opinion, they're that good. They're that good. So I got Gonzaga winning that one. It's gonna be a good game to watch, I think, in my opinion. Purdue, Gonzaga, but give me the Zags with that one. And then the Cinderella story, South Dakota State, number 13 seed South Dakota State versus number 1 seed Arizona. Who's gonna win? This one's tough. Arizona, really good team. South Dakota State, one of the highest scoring teams in the country. Again, like I said, Cinderella teams are teams that play as a team. Teamwork. Arizona, they play as a team with teamwork. They may have better players. But give me South Dakota State. I accidentally chose Arizona. I ruined the whole climactic part of the video, making South Dakota State move on to the championship. I accidentally clicked Arizona, but give me South Dakota State. And maybe I chose South Dakota State because I was like, I can't really have number 2, number 1 seeds play for the championship. There needs to be something mixed in there, and it's called March Madness for a reason. There's carnage, there's chaos, madness. You have South Dakota State moving on to the championship game against Gonzaga. Now, Gonzaga, great team overall. South Dakota State made it here through teamwork, through team effort, through their scoring ability at the 3-point line. I think this is gonna be a defense-offense matchup. Gonzaga's gonna bring that defense. South Dakota State's gonna bring that offense. Who will win? And you know what they say, defense wins championships, and Gonzaga's going to win the championship here. Now, I'm not really going to put a score here. I got Gonzaga winning 88 to South Dakota State's 87. Not really much. I didn't really choose a score for them to win by, but I got Gonzaga winning that one. I think Gonzaga is going to win. Great team overall. And yeah, I think Gonzaga is going to win.